Let's talk about the individual who is a predator, but don't worry, he is trans.
Oh, so that's okay then.
Then we should all give it up. And this is something I'm going to put in a sort of narrative here I'm going to make out about the fact that coming back from Afghanistan, it is very clear that the UK is some kind of minoritarian society. Right. So you've heard of majoritarian societies like Hungary and whatnot, who advocate that we're the majority, we have a right to this place as the majority group, as the Hungarians or whatever, and therefore you will culturally be like us, we will pass laws for you to be like us, and you won't transgress against us.
We in previous times would have called this the democratic spirit, actually.
Yeah.
That the majority should make the rules for how the country is governed.
Now, there's the extremes of that, like, well, the majority just votes to kill you, and that's the political philosophy side of that
But
thing.
we do have human rights.
Yeah, but not in the UK, because we decided to take the opposite route, and so did the US. So, just going to plug here the Origin of Intersectionality podcast we did together, because it's obviously very relevant. Because Kimberly Crenshaw's own ideology is about the superiority or supremacy of the minorities.
That's explicitly the purpose of it.
The idea that minorities should, for some reason, have some class consciousness about all being minorities together.
Yeah, form together in a coalition and overthrow the majority.
Yeah, and then put themselves in that position, which is, again, not something... Well, it's something that has been carried out in the West and has not been carried out by all minorities having class consciousness or some such thing.
No, it's
but instead,
leftist activists.
Actors who want to gain political power by enforcing that ideology upon us. And we can just see, like, endless examples of this. But we'll start off just mentioning the fact, of course, that... came back from a place that is not a minoritarian society and instead is ruled by people who will just do as they please. However, there is certainly put into perspective the madness that we have in the West. Because if you go to the next one here, here's a video that I saw Martin put up, and we won't play it because it'll get struck on YouTube. But it's a video of a white guy getting beaten the crap out of by 3 cops. They punch the hell out of his head, kicking him, kneeing him, and they don't let up, as you see, for like 30-odd seconds. They just keep going. And you might be thinking immediately, as an upstanding citizen, well, what did he do before?
Well, yeah.
What's the context? I mean, why is he being beaten?
I take it he said the N-word or something.
We might drive a car into a bunch of kids. Maybe all kinds of reason. Except then you think about to yourself, I mean, has any BLM community ever asked that question?
No.
No.
Why would they?
Because it's just about power and enforcing minoritarian supremacy over the rest of us. And, well, if you're in the way, or the narrative is in the way, or the reality is in the way, doesn't matter. And we can see this in the story of the predator, who her defense is that, well, she's trans. I keep saying she. It's not she. As you can see here, UK trans TikToker revealed as a registered sex offender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how do you think that went? It's started out as a gentleman from Redditch. So if we go to the next link here, we can read the original story from 2015. Man imprisoned for wicked rape attempt on friend. Not the happiest of chaps. In May 2013, Mr. Crocker contacted the woman by text, saying he had just come back to the UK from Spain, which was a lie, asking her if she would help empty some of his stuff from a storage facility. Crocker collected a van and drove to the woman's home, and then they travelled back in it. He drove into a field. Crocker got out and asked her for sex using graphic language, and she made it clear she did not want to. So...
Needs some lessons from Andrew Tate, really, doesn't he?
That's exactly apparently what he took, which is he tried to force her clothes off, pinned her down, and undid his trousers while continuing to hold her down.
Right.
Quote, he told her that if she did not consent, he was going to force himself upon her.
Right.
Quote, she did everything she could to try and stop him. She punched him in the face 3 times, but her efforts were in vain. He was too strong for her, he touched her sexually, and assaulted her sexually.
Right, so he's a rapist.
Yes. During the assault, he took hold of her throat and squeezed so hard and long that she lost consciousness. Because she had passed out, only one person knows what happened next. But, having caused her to lose consciousness, he dumped her body in a field and disappeared in the van. He left her stranded and secluded. The victim had an injured ankle, but managed to hobble to the road and flag down a motorist, Anne Woolbank, who was passing with her daughter, and told them that she thought she had been raped. But Mr. Crocker denied trying to rape her, claiming it was the woman who had contacted him, asking him to give her a lift to someone, and he said that he had dropped her off and she had been fine. Crocker could not explain as to why she left her phone and her keys in his van, if she had left voluntarily.
Yeah.
So, pretty open and shut case.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Seems that way.
This dude is an absolute scumbag. And the judge went on in here to actually commend the police on, quote, a extremely well-investigated case and an extremely well-prepared case.
Frankly, I'm surprised there's anyone at that as well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the judge, weren't you? Actually did some work.
Well, you actually solved the rape case for once instead of covering it up. Well,
Good job.
surprise. But this is in 2015, and the individual on TikTok has admitted that it's them, so the reporters on the previous article have correctly identified this individual, and we'll play the first clip in which he makes an admittance.
I'm telling you the truth now. I got falsely accused of attempting to rape someone. I got 9 years for it. I served 4.5 years for it. I appealed it every time that I could, but you can't win your appeal if you can't prove that you didn't do anything. I'm not gaslighting anything. I'm telling you straight up now. I don't actually know what gaslighting is myself. There you go. Where's my mods now? Did I? I'll probably get my live ended, but I'm trying to put my side across. I'm trying to explain to you everything. If my live gets ended, people reporting it, then that's it. Then I won't be able to tell my side.
There we are. His side is that I didn't do it.
Okay. Wasn't convincing.
Yeah, not very. Especially considering about how did the phone and the keys end up in your van afterwards still, if she had left voluntarily. Very simple. However, this individual goes on to make endless TikToks about their new life. I don't know at what point they transitioned. Maybe in prison, maybe after prison. And they have a wish list here, which did make me laugh. This is one item on the wish list for a transgender pride summer dress for women. Women's dresses. And I love how the image they use is a stock cis woman as well. But whatever. We shall move to the TikToks instead, because this is more revealing of the individual. As you can see here, here's a bunch of TikToks of them at Pride.
Right.
Celebrating that they are part of the community and all together.
So this is with the cops. This is a person who is trying to find community because other people don't really want to hang around with a rapist.
Oh, yeah. So they became trans and now hang out at Pride events with everyone else. And aren't they part of the community now? They're part of the alphabet.
It looks that way.
Part of the rapist alphabet, maybe. There's more clips as well. This is the Pride one was previously, but then there's this one here, which is they decide to go and talk to the police, which...
Pride police hanging out with a rapist.
Yeah, this is a really awkward interaction as well, because the individual in question decides to mention, I haven't even been arrested today. And the police are like, should we arrest you?
Why would that be the case?
Let's I think we have a clip of that one. Let's play that.
And this is the police with their LGBT on them. And for strange reason, I haven't been arrested today by the police.
You need to be arrested.
Well, I was the other day I got arrested, but I haven't today, people. But look, this is Norwich Police. Norfolk Police? Norfolk Police, there we go. With the LGBT, the front of this march, having an awesome time.
There you have it. I'm part of the community, lads. I'm like part of the LGBT. And it's like, yeah, I don't think I really want you around here.
I don't particularly, but what do I know?
But there you have it. And also the fact that they only served 4 years for this rape, which, okay, there we have it. However, we should move on because they also then went on to admit that they were arrested and, quote, because I was bad, with a bunch of emojis.
Oh, well, okay. Don't worry about it then.
Yeah, I mean, you were arrested for raping a woman, but, you know, because I was bad. Trust me. But there we have it. I mean, just one of the worst people on earth, a rapist. I think we can say that.
I would say so, yeah.
And but don't worry, like accepted by the alphabet community, accepted on TikTok as an individual who should be able to, build 10,000 followers and have a life as a trans TikToker, because isn't that quirky?
I mean, I suppose the argument would be, well, they went to jail, served the time, and therefore...
100%.
Yeah.
I could get that argument. However, that is not how it is portrayed in the media. And as you can see, it got exposed and it was like, yeah, hang on, this alphabet hero of yours is not just haha quirky hanging out at the Pride parades, actually has a darker past. And it very much reminded me of a previous example, obviously in Hollywood, where else? Kevin Spacey, where you may remember where he came out and said, whoa, I'm being alleged of being a nonce, so I am gay. It's like, right, okay.
Good defense, Kevin.
It's not really much of a defense, but there you have it, which is, regardless of what you've done, I feel like it's very much a culture in the West that if you can claim you're part of a minority, you should therefore be able to get away with it, as Kevin tried.
Yeah.
And as we see with the power dynamics in the West. And we can see it play with gays against groomers who have been banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took long. This was up when I made this segment, but...
they've been suspended again?
Yes, once again.
Right, because I covered this the other day, because they were temporarily suspended, but got their account back, and now they've been suspended again. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Thankfully, I wrote down what they wrote, so we'll just read that. Okay. So, gays against groomers, of course, decided to write out, woke progressives that sexualize, indoctrinate, and medicalize children want us to stop calling them groomers. And we will, as soon as they stop grooming children. It's a very simple solution.
I can see why they got banned.
Yeah, and there you have it. So, woke progressives sexualize and indoctrinate children. Woke progressives, those are the ones that need to be dealt with, which come in all stripes, all sexualities, races, and genders, and blah, 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 blah. So, how do you think the left took that?
Oh, as a personal attack.
Yeah, against the alphabet community.
Yeah.
Unironically, if we go to the next tweet here, we have some verified checkmark. Gays against groomers got suspended permanently. Twitter reversed it. Then they went on Tucker Carlson. Now they feel emboldened to continue using the groomer label to blatantly slander LGBTQ people. It's just like, right, okay.
I saw a tweet the other day. I posted it on my Facebook account because it was just amazing. It went along the lines of, if we have a paedophile purge, then this will be damaging to the left as a whole.
Yeah.
So really, that's fascinating.
Real self-report.
Yeah.
You're like, woke progressives sexualize kids, so we need to get rid of them. Well, why are you going after the LGBT community? It's like, no, nobody mentioned that. And in fact, Gays Against Groomers responded with that, but we can't show you it because it's banned. But the next tweet here was them saying so that we said woke progressives that sexualize, indoctrinate, and medicalize minors. Nor did we say anything about LGBTQ people.
It's just such big self-reports, isn't it? You are what you respond to.
Yeah, every time. The fact that you immediately associate the groomer word with our community says a lot more about you than it does us. Talk about hateful conduct.
Yeah.
And they were banned for that, presumably, because they're now gone for pointing this out.
Okay.
But again, it just comes down to, as you can see with that verified checkmark, it was like, yeah, well, you know, we woke progressives might groom kids, but at least we're part of the alphabet. I'm like, this isn't a defense. This is not a way any other country would work, but in the West, this is something that people think they can get away with as an argument.
But they can get away with it. That's the thing.
Because
the power structures are set up to defend them.
Yeah, this minoritarian society is what reigns supreme. I mean, Kimberly Crenshaw's ideology, intersectionalism, is exactly what runs our institutions, and therefore people think is a valid defense, is saying, well, I am a member of minorities.
I mean, this is exactly, going back to the Andrew Tate clip, this is exactly why he was banned. Protecting the minority that is women. It's like they're the majority. What are you talking about anyway?
Well, technically the minority are feminists, so you could argue.
I guess. But it's just...
It's holy feminists.
Awful.
Yeah. And then we'll move on, because it also, just looking back at the West, I mean, this is what facilitates so much nonsense that we have to deal with on our daily basis, obviously. And this is just the latest example of absolute nonsense that is being denied, let's say. So here's the science, as it is, the Economist here, who are reporting, okay, well, we had a look at monkeypox. The results are not very promising for our narrative. 99% of confirmed cases are in men, and amongst a third of cases for which more detailed information is available. 97% are in men who have sex with men. Gay or bi men.
Yeah.
Presumably. I don't know why. I don't know what the statement is. I don't know if it's because of the trans things that people don't want to know what a man and a woman is now. Just
possibly, but they're talking about the activity themselves because the identity might change or be fluid or something like that. So an activity is something you've engaged in, so that's concrete, right? So men who have sex with men, okay, well, you know, that's
at least narrow that down.
No, that is at least specific.
Yeah.
You know, men who have sex with men, well, 97% of those cases are. That's where the monkeypox is.
Yeah, and it's not all gay and bisexual men. It is those diagnosed tended to engage in high-risk sexual activity. In Britain, about a third of people testing positive reported having 10 or more partners in the 3 previous months. So degenerate gay and bisexual men. Just people going out on sex orgies, as we have witnessed some of the more high-profile cases of journos.
I love that, 10 or more.
Yeah.
It could just be any number.
Could be 30.
Yeah.
Well, 3 months, 90?
Yeah,
Why stop at 90, I don't know. Yeah. But there we have it. So they say in here, it is increasingly clear that the disease is almost always transmitted through sex. Well, I'm shocked. Where known, 91% of cases are reported to be contracted through sexual encounters. Only on rare occasions has the virus been passed on in other ways from someone to household members, including children. So it is possible, but incredibly rare. So if it happens a lot to children, I would be very sus. And I can hear the going on. They continue.
How did the dog get anal lesions, Callum?
Sharing bed covers with the dog bed. Yeah, I'm not buying that one either. They say, will monkeypox see sustained spread in the general population? One recent paper, which has not yet been published in peer-reviewed journals, suggests that this is completely unlikely. Too few adults are having the number of sex partners needed.
As if there's a goal.
Yeah, as if, you know...
Too many people are eating meat. It's damaging the environment.
Nurgle over here is like, well, it's not working. There needs to be more orgies going on. But not happening.
Yeah.
So they say it's not going to happen and eventually we'll just die out. It's the current rate in which it's being transmitted. But they also say in here, they're also assuming that the sexual transmission and outbreaks will quickly hit a dead-on which is not mentioning any of the vaccines.
Yeah.
I happened to have met a doctor on the way back from Afghanistan who was Belarusian, and he was out there. He got paid 10 grand a month, tax-free, to be there, which,
it's good.
good money.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, he was like, yeah, no, no one is worried about this. Just take smallpox vaccine, it's fine. But smallpox vaccine, not make money.
That's a good point.
Literally. Everyone apparently in the medical profession seems to be black-pilled on vaccines at this point in the
Really?
sense of who's making money. And that's the only thing they're black-pilled on. Nothing else. YouTube. But we should go to the next link because there's the science. There's how it is. However, of course, minoritarianism, so we can't talk about that. And instead, we must have the New York Times who come to you with this news. How to stop your kids getting monkeypox. All right, don't have sex with them. Yeah, it's probably the main thing.
I'm just not worried about it, weirdly.
Yeah, most people don't have that problem. Don't share bed clothing with them because, there's a small chance that might give them it as well. In your household of men who have orgies every other night. Yeah, anyway, but there's the advice someone might give you if they were following the science and would actually deal with the reality. However, the New York Times went with, parents who are concerned about the virus may also be relieved to know that many pandemic precautions and behaviors can be repurposed to protect children against monkeypox, such as wearing masks in crowded indoor areas. Why the hell would you write that? Like, what kind of sub-IQ do you have to write something like that if you genuinely believed it?
Well, I don't know if they genuinely believe it.
You'd have to be like Equatorian Guinea levels of IQ.
It's more that you think that your readership is at that level of IQ, right? It's not necessarily that you believe it, but you think they will believe it. They're sufficiently primed through the years of propaganda that we've had so far to believe just anything you say.
Yeah.
That's all I can imagine.
Just wear a mask. That'll stop the sexually transmitted disease. Well, I mean, technically, but one way. But the rest of it, rightio. But there you have it. I mean, just there's the nonsense example I'm giving you there. But if we go to the next one, of course, I could have given endless lists of nonsense examples. I mean, David here always reminds us of another minoritarian problem in which we talk about child prostitution crises going on in 2001. No such thing. Again, there's a lot of today, isn't there? Because it's just goddamn ridiculous what Westerners are made to put up with. I mean, like, honestly printing such things and thinking anyone's going to believe this and not see immediately through it.
Why are so many children turning to prostitution, Callum?
Yeah. If you scroll down on this one, Michael, just to the end line there as well. In Rotherham, alone, for example, I'm just not even going to read it. Yeah.
God damn it.
80 girls are said to be working as prostitutes. Working. Right. Not child rape victims. But there you have it. There's another example, and there are endless numbers of examples of just the nonsense we expected to live in the West because minoritarianism, just Kimberly Crenshaw's ideology of the supremacy of minorities as some kind of group that should work together is a reality in which we live. And it's also the reason they scream so much about Hungary and Poland, of course, which I thought I'd end this on, which is a very European outlet caring about the illiberal Hungarians and Polish.
Majoritarianism, oh no.
Yeah, it's creeping authoritarianism. Right, okay. Well, Hungary has many problems, but none of those problems are the problems we have in the West.
I bet it doesn't have very much problem with monkeypox or grooming gangs.
No Rotherham issues. No
trans rapists.
No Brighton issues. So.
But it's weird. I mean, their problems are definitely different to ours.
Yeah, and the problems we have, they don't have, which is some kind of miracle. Maybe we should learn about how to solve our problems because they don't have them, but instead, no, that mustn't be learned. However, I also, you may remember David, I was speaking to him about this, and he said, yeah, Hungary's got some problems with, government overreach and all that. But he mentioned he was hanging out with the anti-Orban, so the people who don't like all of this, and they were complaining, and the youth were complaining. He says, well, do you want to go to New York for university or California? And they went, no. I'm like, really? I was like, why? I was like, you've seen them? Like, even the anti-Orban types are like, hey, I'm not mad. Yeah, this is bad, but not American bad. But they have a situation here which they list liberalism versus majoritarianism. As if those two were always in opposites, which isn't true.
Right.
They give you an example. Referenda could also conceivably be a main feature of raw majoritarianism. Indeed, Swiss referenda have resulted in hard clashes between the majority will and human rights guarantees.
Right, so democracy is the problem. Right, okay, I mean, that's interesting that they've finally arrived at that position.
You might have taken a political science course and be thinking, yeah, well, I read that the majority could just vote to kill the lamb, and therefore this could be bad.
Don't they realise they're openly arguing for minority aristocracies like this? I mean, like, that's how...
No, that is the goal.
That is how everything is being treated.
Yes.
Like, it's like an aristocracy of the minorities.
Yes, 100%. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Just, that is how our society works. And they give us, as they say, you know, oh, couldn't it be bad if the majority rule in charge, though? Because
not really.
they might have referenda on minority rights. And it's like, yeah, in the West, we're not going to have a vote on bringing back slavery. It's not happening. So the example they give as to, you know, horrible things the West might do, though, as exhibited by the 2009 vote to ban the construction of new mosque minarets
Oh, no.
in Switzerland. There we have it. There's your big bad example of what majoritarianism will bring to the West.
Oh, no. If
What are they
only
gonna
there was
do?
a country where Muslims could build mosques.
Yeah, they still can. I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, minarets
the
even, on
referendum
their
is
mosques.
you can have your mosques,
Yeah.
just we want the architecture to fit in with a nice Swiss lovely village. And the Muslims are like, well, fair enough, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah, it's not the Muslims complaining about that, is it?
Muslims are like, you know, we in our country we can do as we wish, in your country we should do as you wish. You know,
Yeah.
we can still worship, that's fine. And the EU comes in and is like, not on my watch, you don't. Like, I won't have liberal compromises. This is illiberalism.
Isn't there someone you forgot to ask?
But there you have it. And that's just what I wanted to talk about. Just
Yeah.
a reflection on what the West is coming back from Afghanistan. And certainly it's some kind of minority aristocracy that runs all of these countries from the top down. I mean, as you can see, I mean, even in that referendum, the Swiss Muslims, of all things, were just like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the EU is coming in and being like, but don't you know this is evil? I'm like, no, we don't care. We don't care. We can get along fine without you.
But it really is the triumph of intersectionalism. This
100%.
100%. It really is. It's awful.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this one on the morality of abortion. If you want to follow what else Josh is putting out, you can follow him on Getter at Josh_firm on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.